everyone. Welcome to the annual general meeting of Samskruti Foundation. My name is Anupama. I am the East Zone in charge of Samskruti Foundation. By profession, I am a teacher and I run my own school in Mallapur, Hyderabad. Now, I would like to, before we start, I would like to request everyone to put their phones on silent or switch it off so that we can have disturbance-free program. And I would like to invite on stage our dignitaries, our chairman, Dr. C. Umameshwar Rao Garu, a retired IAS, former secretary of CM of Combined Andhra Pradesh. Our vice chairman, Shri DRSP Anand Raju Garu. And members of our advisory council, Dr. K. Arvind Rao Garu, former DGP of Andhra Pradesh. Lieutenant General Ramchandra Rao Garu, PVSM, AVSM, VSM awardee. Welcome, sir. Justice L. Narasimha Reddy Garu, former Chief Justice of Patna High Court and former Chairman of CAT. Now I request all of you to please step down and do Deep Prajwalan. Sir. I request Dr. Arvind Rao ji to please come on stage. Okay. to give us the background of this meeting.
Namaste, andarki namaskaralu. Today, on 4th November, we all gathered here for the Samskruti Foundation annual event. Actually, on this occasion, I welcome all of you and our chairman, Sri Umamaheshwara, Sri Arvindra Garu, Lieutenant General Ramchandra Garu, all our advisory council members and governing council members and all the directors of different verticals Samskruti Foundation is conducting now. I think most of you know about the Samskruti Foundation. I need not go again and detail the detailed activities. But the thing is, Samskruti Foundation has started in a small way, but now it has grown up in multiple levels, and we have different activities which are running now. And it has gone through almost all entire India now. I think it is spread to entire India, and our activities required a lot of inputs from the advisory council members and governing council members and all the directors who are working on the field. We have reached to this goal just because the inputs we have received from the different activities what we have conducted in various places, like in the colleges and all CLCs and all these whatever activities we are doing, we are getting inputs not only from the students, even from the faculty members. That has given the encouragement to our team, so that we can scaled up our activities throughout the country. And this is an occasion where I think we can share our thoughts with you, and also we take your inputs, and whatever possible, I think to our efforts, we will try to implement those things which is enables us to safeguard our culture and our ancient culture and Indian glory. So in this respect and in this thing, I think we will have a lot of time for interaction meeting, more than briefing ourselves on the activities. I once again request all of you to please be free and share your thoughts, your advices, your inputs, so that our team led by Umamaheshwara Garu will guide us, and we will take up more challenges in the coming years, and that success will be a contribution from all of you. So I once again thank you for sparing your time and attending this. And I now request the other programs to continue. And in the interaction, I think you can ask any questions. And this is every year we conduct one such meeting so that we can meet all of you and share our activities and also take care of it. Thank you very much.
Now I request Shri Urta Venugopal ji to give an introduction of the Advisory Council and our special guests.
Namaste to all. I read out the Advisory Council, our esteemed members. Swami Tatpanananda ji, he is the president of Arsha Vidya Gurukulam, Mahamahopadhyaya Awardee by Rashtriya Samskruti Vidyapith Tirupati. Justice L. Narasimha Reddy, former Chief Justice, Patna High Court, former Chairman, CAT, Central Appellate Tribunal. Lieutenant General K. Ramchandra Rao Garu, PVSM, AAVSM and BSM Awardee winner. Dr. K. Arvind Rao Garu, former DGP, Andhra Pradesh. Dr. K. Varaprasad Reddy Garu, Chairman, Shanta Biotechnics, Padma Bhushan Awardee too. BVR Mohan Reddy Garu, Indian Business Executive and Engineering Manager. He's not here. Dr. Manohar Shinde Garu, Professor in Psychiatry and Founder Chairman, Dharma Civilizational Foundation of USA. These are the list of our esteemed Advisory Council members. I now read out the list of Governing Council members of Samskruti Foundation. Dr. Sri Uma Maheshwar Rao Garu, IAS, retired former Secretary to Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh. DRSV Raju Garu, Executive Chairman, One Coffee Limited. Dr. W.G. Prasanna Kumar Garu, he is Senior Social Scientist at Pollution Control Board. Sri T. Rambabu Garu, Co-Convener, Civil Engineer, MD of Your Ground Engineering Private Limited. Sri L.V. Subramanyam Garu, IAS retired, former Chief Secretary, Andhra Pradesh. Dr. M. Malkondaya Garu, retired IPS, former DGP AP. Sri Jasti Krishna Kishore Garu, Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, Karnataka. Sri D. Durga Reddy Garu, Industrialist. Sri Chandu Rao Garu, he is a cost accountant. Professor Hemnath Rao Garu, former Director, Development Management Institutes and Patna and Dean of ASCII, Hyderabad. Dr. Vemuri Ravindra Babu Garu, former Director, ICAR, Indian Institute of Rice Research. Professor Aula Manjulata Garu, former Vice Chancellor, Sri Potti Sri Ramulu, Telugu University. Professor G. Ramesh Garu, former Professor Public Policy, IIM Bangalore. Sri K. Narasimhamurthy Garu, CA, he is former advisor of AP and Director. Dr. U.M. Chaudhary Garu, former Additional General Manager, BHEL, Research and Development, and Principal and Dean of Aurora Group of Institutions. Sri Arvind Srimal Garu, MD, Fortune Art and LED Lighting Private Limited. Sri V. Anil Reddy Garu, MD, NASDAQ Private Limited. Dr. Suhendra Putti Garu, Company Secretary and he is VP of CIAN Limited. Sri Bojanapalli Narasimha Garu, he is a businessman. And Sri K.S. Ramurthy Garu, social activities. I now quickly read out the list of executive committee members of Samskruti Foundation. Dr. Vivek Modi Garu, he is wellness educator. Sri Nataraj Gudda Garu, he is senior director at Capgemini. Srimati N. Nagapashanti Garu, High Court Standing Council member. Sri Balu Nagaraj Garu, managing director, Gabana Rock and Road Private Limited. Sri Sridhar Chalukya Garu, managing director, Gabana Rock and Road Private Limited. Sri G. Sai Krishna Garu, Marketing Professional, Sri K. Sudhir Babu Garu, Senior Manager, Talent Acquisition, Stellant, Sri S. Venugopal Garu, Retired Office Superintendent, he is Railways, Indian Railways, Sri Venugopal Urta, GRC Capability at Tech Mahindra, Dr. P. Somnath Garu, Sanskrit Professor and former Principal of KMICS, Dr. B. Sanjeev Garu, he is Physics Professor and retired Principal Government Degree College, Varangal, Dr. Lieutenant Colonel Nirita Krishna Garu, retired Lieutenant Cons, Lieutenant Colonel Swarna Reddy Garu, Sri Mahesh Shetty Garu, Senior Project Manager, Valentine Technologies India Private Limited, Sri Mati Sampata Garu, CGSC of Telangana, Navyapada Parshat, she is Vice President. Sri A. Murali Krishna Garu, LIC Development Officer, Sri G. Sai Pranav, IT Professional, Sri Deshmukh Garu, Delivery Lead, Global E-Procure, GEP, Sri D. K. Madhukar Garu, Businessman, Sri Mati Anupama Shah, Entrepreneur, Dr. P. Vijay Kumar, Assistant Professor, and Sri C. H. Raju Garu, IT Professional. Sri BSc Naveen, Consultant, MGNCRE, Sri Madhusudan Garu Junjunwala, Founder and CEO of Gauri Shankar Business Services Private Limited, Sri M.V. Subbarao Garu, Defense Engineer, Military Engineering Services, Sri Lalita Abhiram, IMB Bangalore, Public Policy, Sri Subhrat Tripathi, Entrepreneur, Dr. Chaitanya Manava, Pharmaceutical Scientist, Novartis, Sri Sudarshan Reddy Garu, Scholar, Department of Political Sciences, HCU, Sri Anandarao Garu, Civil Engineer, Sri A. Ramanarao Garu, Chief General Manager, Director, IRDA, Sri G. Ashok Rao, IT Professional, Sri Vamshi Krishna, IT Professional, Sri Vishnu Dattaraya, retired from Secretariat, Sri A. Kiran, Faculty for Political Sciences, Indian Constitution and Public Administration, UPSC, A.S.R. Sharma Garu, Assistant Professor at Shivashivani Institute of Management, Sri Shivakoti Reddy, Managing Director at Technolabs, Srimati G. Hemlata Garu, Associate Professor in Civil Engineering, Sri Nagat Shiva Garu, IT Professional, Srimati Basanta Lakshmi Garu, Research Assistant, MCR, HID Institute of Telangana University, C. Veeranaganan, you say IT Professional, Siddharth Rai Mahendra, IT Professional, Shreyas Durgadas Rao Deshmukh, Research Associate, Delhi Policy Group, Santana Srinivasan, ANG is SBI, Sri T. Srinivasmurthy, retired Deputy Manager, LIC, Ravi Krishna, Sri C.H. Ajay, Team Lead Vyom Solutions, T. Shravanti, IT Professional, T. Srinivas, IT Professional, working with IBM Bangalore, Gopi Chilpuru, IT Professional, Tech Lead, Verizon, T. Fani Srinivas, Chief of Finance Officer, SBI, Singapore, Tandala Suhasini, Central Government Standing Council Telangana, Sri Surugonda Raghuveer, Operational in Charge, and Sai Sham Gumpilla, IT Professional, Dr. M. Dinakar Sharma, IT Professional, Erra Anubhav Reddy, ADP Consultant, Srimati Madhvi, Srimati Ashwini Bujugam, Teacher, Surya Vinay Kumar, Senior Software Engineer, Chevuri Ashok, IT Professional, Medicity Chaitanya, Lead Software at ID Computech, MBS Sriram Kashyap, Software Engineer, Google, Raikali Nikhil Sai, Java Developer, Dhanush Group, Bodhu Sunil, IT Professional, Ashwini, IT Professional, Dyasham Keshav Rao Hegde, IT Professional, Ayaluri Pratap, IT Professional, Satyavati Yoga Trainer, Srimati Vijayata, Housewife, Geeta Sukalakshmi, Housewife, they all are homemakers. Sai Kumar, Senior Manager, Novartis, Radha Krishna, DGM, Pogrit, VV Subramaniam, MD Logistics Business, Sri Ramakrishna Garu, Senior Manager, Apex Cooperative Bank, Kung Sai Sri Advocate, Kumari Annapurna, Office Assistant, and D. Tukaram Garu, Office Assistant. The SAK Special Invitees team is there. They are all our esteemed special invitees for the evening. NRK Reddy Garu, Chairman, Synergy Education Society, Professor T. Tirupati Rao Garu, Pariyatham Lakshminarayan Garu, Professor Krishna Reddy, HCU Economics, Veerababu Garu, HCU Political Science, Gopal Reddy Garu, Political Sciences, D. Venkatrao Garu and Srimati, Professor K.C. Baral, Professor I. Lakshmi, Dr. Otted Srinivas Reddy, Dr. Vasant Shinde, CCMB, Mukkala Ravindar, Dr. Nagaraj Paturi, Indica, Dr. V.M. Tiwari, Dr. Shira Sagar, Prabhakar Rao Garu, Professor N.C. Batra, Anjali Prakash Garu, Dr. Maruti Sharma, Professor Vidya Diodar, Dr. Satish Shinoy, Dr. Vasanti, Dr. P. Subbaredi Garu, Dr. Bharat Krishna, Sri Kutumbara Kishore, Sri P.M. Ramakrishna, Sri B.P. Srinivas Garu, Dr. Annadana Subramanian Garu, Sri Gurram Sanjeev Reddy Garu, Sri Bojanapalli Venugopal, Sri Vemraju Raghuram, Sri M. Subbarao, NIN, he is scientist at NIN, Shakti Shivaram Krishna, Professor Vayunandan, J. Rajeshwar, Upparama Krishna. Here are some of the other esteemed members. They have contributed immensely, voluntarily, for various activities of Samskruti Foundation. Samskruti Foundation is very thankful to all these volunteers and special invitees who were part of the team and who has contributed in various ways to the success of various programs, which we will be briefing about you shortly. Thank you. Thank you all.
Now I request Dr. K. Arvind Raoji to unveil the book National Conference Proceedings. At the end of the program, all of us can collect our copies. Thank you. Now I request Shri T. Ram Babuji to come on stage and talk about Samskruti Foundation programs, aims and objectives.
Good evening to all of you. Subha Sayantram Andariki. The dignitaries on the dais as well as off the dais, a warm welcome on behalf of Samskruti Foundation to all the Samskruti Foundation family members and our well-wishers and our patrons. I thank you, one and all of you, for sparing your Saturday evening to come and attend this function that shows the amount of urge and the zeal that you have to serve the society, our society, in an august manner. I especially remember two people for today's function to be happening over here who made this hall to be ready in a very short time of around less than a week. One is our very senior Swayam Sevak, Mr. Venuji, who is down to earth, very simple, and always ever ready to work. He is Sri Venugopalji. He will always be at work at somewhere else. Now he will not be in the hall. The other Venuji who is responsible for this hall to give to us is Chinta Venugopal Reddy garu, who owns this premises and who has given this premises to us to use for this August work. For last 1 year plus, we have been here. And I also would like to bring to your notice that we are sitting in this hall, which we renamed it as Madhumati Hall. The reason why it is called Madhumati Hall is Sri Chinta Venugopal Reddy's father's name is Madhusudan Reddy garu and his mother's name is Vasumati. So we took Madhu, the honey of Madhusudan Reddy part, and put it in the first part, Madhu, and Vasumati, the last part of Vasumati's name, we put is Mati. So that's how it's called Madhumati Hall, and we are very thankful to Venugopal Reddy garu and Venuji who made this hall to be workable and have function in our own premises. Besides this, of course, Ramurthy garu is there, who is responsible for all of us coming together here. So with that, very small thanks to the great contributors. Regarding Samskruti Foundation, as most of you know, or some of you may not be knowing, it started in the year 2009 with a very august kind of a purpose. Over the years, as Rajagaru just explained, we built. We are working with a tagline called Our Culture, Our Identity. If we miss one, we miss both. Any society, any institution, any nation is identified with their culture, with the way civilization they built it up. So we got to be proud, and we had to protect it, and we had to preserve it, and encourage the practice of it. We have a vision. Our vision is actually to be National Resource Center for our culture. To achieve that, a grand vision, an ambitious vision, we are working in a mission mode with the help of all the volunteers and Karyakartas. Our mission is to preserve, protect, and encourage a practice of Bharatiya culture, ethos, through training, research, workshops, dialogues, deliberations. With this kind of a mission, when you are going forward, when our volunteers go to any institutions, they will definitely face a question: what is that specialty of SF or Samskruti Foundation in comparison to other NGOs? They are also doing a lot of social work. What is that unique selling point of Samskruti Foundation? If you re-look at our mission statement, 3 prominent words, starting with letter P: preserve, protect, and encourage the practice of Bharatiya culture. Why? Is it really required? If you see the Bharatiya culture, it is one of the Indic civilization, the oldest and only surviving civilization. If it has gone through this kind of an onslaught or a kind of a destruction or disturbances that has gone through so for centuries or millennia, it must be having some strong roots. We're all descendants of that. Do we have that responsibility to carry on, to carry forward? You are saying on one side it's so strong and so good, and why do you need it to be protected? Why do you need it to be preserved? Why do you need it to encourage the practice of it? When we ask these questions, I would like to say a small example. Recently, when we conducted a workshop for some college students, where we call them as cultural leaders or cultural leaders center students. One boy came to me and asked, after the sessions of the faculty members deliberated with them some of the points, they asked me a question: sir, what you are telling is very, very important to us. We are not told in our school, nor in college, nor in any institutions that we go, nor at home. We have got some kind of a disconnect from our own culture in a progressive manner. Whatever we say, in the education institutions it will not taught, nor it is taught in the homes, because all of us are running our own. So where that disconnect is coming? Why should we not have this disconnection? Why should we have this connection? If you look at the civilizations in the world, or wherever any of the people are persecuted anywhere, like Israelis, or they were persecuted everywhere whenever they went. Jews were persecuted, except in India. Even today, the Constitution of Israel thanks Indians for we have only given them the accommodation, look after them without any kind of difference. That's a kind of recognition. Or if you see the boat full of people who left Poland were not given a shelter in any of the ports, whether it's Europe or in Southeast or Middle East or anywhere, except in Bombay. There also British wanted to send them back. But our king, having that dharma of protecting the people, dharmic principles that are there ingrained in him, he protected them. Even today, every year they come back, the Polish people who are protected, and they conduct a ceremony in Rajasthan. Not only that, in many places, wherever you see Parsis, whoever come to our culture, whoever come to our land, were all taken very well. We always strive for that Vishwa Shanti, or for the world peace. When you see the cacophony that's now happening, either in Hamas, what is being created in the Middle East, with Israelis and Hamas fighting, or in Ukraine, or recently when the Pakistanis were kicking out the Afghan refugees who they sheltered few years back. All this cacophony, is there an answer for this cacophony kind of thing that is happening in the world affairs? Yes, there is an answer for that. What is that? If you follow the Indian way of culture or Indian way of living or the Bharatiya culture that is being gone through this kind of a thing, certainly we have an answer for that. With that kind of a requirement, which is very much there, with the youth are thinking nowadays that westernization is the modernization. Do you agree with that? Yes, definitely, materialistically we should be good, but that doesn't mean that we lose our own roots or we forget about our own roots. So we got to have that roots very strongly, at the same time exhibit in modern way. So basically because of this, Samskruti Foundation works to go into the society on two platforms, or two verticals that we call. CLC is one platform, the other platform is called SAK. CLC is Cultural Leadership Center, where we try to conduct a lot of activities through the year, wherein we try to bring the value system in the students. The culture is a very broad canvas, where everything is there covered in that. But what is that USP of Samskruti Foundation is we try to concentrate on music, what are the Samskruti, our culture is like, which is actually basically responsible for all this growth and the compassion that we have in the society. The other vertical that we have is called SAK, wherein we try to bridge the gap between the culture and the governance, or culture and the public policy. How we can bring in a change wherein the governance can be linked to the culture. If the society having a culture, it is moving in one direction, and the governance or the public policies are going in another direction, both do not have a contributory role but a controlling role, then the real contribution from the society doesn't come into the system. We have one of the great institutions of management called IIMs, Indian Institute of Management. It is an Indian Institute of Management. Why can't we make it as Indian Management Systems? We have a lot of knowledge in IKS, Indian Knowledge System. Nowadays it's getting prominence, and AICTE has given a good amount of department and a kind of, they are trying to distribute the knowledge of Indian knowledge systems. A lot of research has been done for the ages. But where is the applied part of it? Is it really getting into the day-to-day administration or the policy levels? Or are we making a policy which is in relevance to our culture? Or are we against it? So, a lot of scholars and Professor Ramesh from IIM Bangalore, who specifically flew in from Bangalore, so we're very thankful for you to come. He has come specifically for our annual meeting, and he is a professor in public policy, and a lot of students all over international studies. They're all taught public policy, which is not Indian context or Indian context. Can we bring a little change? Can we we are not low over anybody. Our management systems are good because we have so much of, we spread our wings last time, long way. So we have a lot of knowledge, and we have our management systems also where our kings and our rulers did use. Can we bring some of that into our system? So this is again a unique or USP of SAK is to bring that cultural connect, cultural governance or cultural link public policy so that we can make a change in the way we are addressing ourselves as a governance. Sir, I really once again thank all of you for making your time on a Saturday evening. Definitely it is a family time, but sure, you people all came in. It shows the kind of interest and the zeal that you have to serve the society. So I once again thank you all on behalf of Samskruti Foundation, and a lot of work can be done, and many people are there waiting in the society to offer their services, but they are all looking for a good platform. So Samskruti Foundation offers a kind of platform because of which I came in, and many of our volunteers who came in were highly respected professionals in their own respective fields. I'm a civil engineer, but I don't do anything about civil engineering over here, but I try to do something social service. Similarly, there are so many professions over here, and we like to have your contribution in such a way that we can take this August work forward and bring that subtle change in the society. With this, I thank you very much for the opportunity given to me. Thank you.
My pranams to all the respected presence on the dais and off the dais. Cultural Leadership Center, as the name goes. A couple of years back, we used to do our activities with the youth in general under the banner of National Nation Building Campaign. And we had activities like Vivek Band, Be Good to Good campaign, Samvad, Raksha Bandhan for soldiers, Yoga for youth, and then women related activities, Tejaswini. So this was a model till a couple of years back. After that, Dr. W.G. Prasanna Kumar, who is convener of Samskruti Foundation, we were sitting and discussing about now that the size is growing and we want to increase our impact, how do we create a more structured way of reaching? And then the idea came from Dr. W.G. Prasanna Kumar about Cultural Leadership Center, that why don't we establish a small unit of Samskruti Foundation, call it Cultural Leadership Center in educational institution, where a body of students, maybe 5 to 10 students and a couple of faculty members, they kind of represent cultural leaders. They represent Samskruti Foundation. It's a physical presence of Samskruti Foundation in these educational institutions. So with that idea, we started shaping it up. We divided the city, Twin City, into 5 zones: Central Zone, Northeast, West, South, and we started building team for each zone. And in the last year, it was into making, but I am happy to announce that last year all the events were conducted by our zone teams primarily. Earlier it was centrally driven by me and some other our team members, all our team members, but now it is primarily driven by our zones in the city. Also outside city, outside Telangana, we had a couple of more people in our full-timers. Our Tukaramji joined us and we started working outside Telangana also, outside Hyderabad also. And many of the institutions participated, again thanks to Dr. W.G. Prasanna Kumar, his network and team, that we were able to make quite good inroads in other states as well. So I would just like to narrate what are the key activities, and after that I'd like to have a very brief plan about what are our key challenges and what are we going to do to overcome those. So in January month we start with Vivek Band campaign, which is Be Good to Good campaign, which is almost a month-long campaign. Basically encouraging youth to do something good, positive, make noise. And 23rd of January, which we name as Vivek Subhashikam event, it happens to be Subhash Chandra Bose's birth anniversary. So Parakram Divas, we have that day a big event where we acknowledge the good acts of the youth, because many of the youth, they have lost the faith on good. Glamour is winning over good, and we are trying to make good glamorous. So That's our first activity with which the year begins with. This year also we had a very successful Vivek Band. Post-COVID, this was the first offline Vivek Band because in 2022 it happened primarily online and more than 1,000 people participated. Swami Shitikanta Nandaji was one of our speakers, Dr. Sanjay Kumar Jha from Medhani, he was our main guest there, and Shri Akhila Raghavendraji. So this happened in Ramakrishna Math. So close to 1100 students participated into it, and it was a success. The theme was our life, our environment, in alignment to Indian culture, how Indian culture is naturally friendly to environment. That was the theme which we tried to do, and in that there were 4 activities which were really taken up very nicely by all the youngsters. After that we had National Science Day, and in that too more than 650 students participated. They visited more than 8 units. We also had some of the events outside Telangana in that. Then Yoga for Youth, and that event too was a very good event, again post-COVID, doing it properly. So close to 600 people participated in that, and it went on well. One of the prominent and very popular event has been Raksha Bandhan for Soldiers, where we take our youth students to the cantonment areas and tie Rakhis. So in 2022, the number was 8. We went to 8 places physically. But this year it doubled, 16. This year we went not just to the army, we went to Air Force, we went to Navy, thanks to our senior Shri Ram Babuji, and our Ramchandra Rao sir is there. Thanks to their support, we were able to do it. No other institution gets that privilege to be in those places. They don't even get the access. But we have the pride to get that. Students were really happy. There were very heartening scenes of tying Rakhis. More than 13,000 Rakhis have been sent to many border areas. So we've increased on that also. And more than 28 colleges within the city. And then many colleges outside also. We had an event in Mumbai, we had an event in Visakhapatnam. So it was a very good success. And of course, all these activities were led by our own teams. I forgot to mention the name. Vivek Band was led by Sri Mahesh Shetty. So I have taken a back seat, I was just kind of monitoring, and it was they who were taking. So thanks to guidance of our seniors, we wanted to decentralize so that every unit becomes self-sufficient and they try to push it further. And then our Yoga for Youth was taken up by our Sri Deshmukhi. Sri Deshmukhi is present here today. Where is he? Yeah, he is here. He was leading the activity. Similarly, Lieutenant Colonel Neela Krishna ji, she is not there, and our Swarna Reddy ji, she is a new, precious joining at our Samskruti Foundation team. They, both of them led our Raksha Bandhan for Soldiers, and it's thanks to their hard work. Of course, Ram Babu sir is always there when it comes to all the guidance. So we had this successful event. Now we have social event going on with the help of Dhani. There's an event called Social where basically promoting healthy eating practices, millets, etc. And we are conducting workshops on that. We already had a state level workshop. 45 colleges have participated in this very hall. We had it. And there were people also come from the side of Hyderabad. And it was a very good response. We are also having lined up many events. In fact, just on next Monday, coming Monday 6th, we have the next cluster level workshop, and there are many more. So our Naveen is leading it. And then Sambal events we keep doing in between on many topics of national importance. So this is how the key activities of Cultural Leadership Center moves on. Now I would just like to highlight, like every other activity, we also have a lot of challenges. And now that we are framing the team, obviously there will be challenges because all our volunteers are working, all our senior people, they are working in their own organizations in very senior positions. So there is always a struggle with time and balancing everything. But still, we are very happy that we have got some wonderful team member additions in the past year. We have Shrimati Hanuman Shahaji, who is there very much. Our each zone was weaker, but she has taken the charge of it and she is leading it. So, Lieutenant Colonel Swarna Reddy ji has joined and she has become part of our South Zone team. So we had some very good new joinees who have strengthened our team. Naveen ji has joined us now in better capacity, and he is leading our work outside, of course, with the guidance of W.G. Prasanna Kumar ji. Suhasini Ishwar ji has joined. She is a former judge, judicial officer, now lawyer. And again, thank you, ma'am, for your time. So we had some very good, I would not be naming all, but there are very good additions. So first challenge was with the team, instability, but we are trying to do that in a way that we are trying to nurture more context, and we are also working on the training of the team. So many of you are aware we have started Samskruti Gyan Mala. Every alternate Thursday we have knowledge series sessions. Our Dr. Arvind has already been one of the speakers recently in Samskruti Gyan Mala, our online session. That is with the aim of understanding. When we are going as cultural leaders outside, when we are propagating it, we should understand our culture first better. From that point of view, training of the employees is one thing which we are working on, shaping it more within the constraints of time. And the second challenge which we have is, and that's not our challenge, it's a challenge of the current times, that people are usually a bit short-sighted, bit impatient in today's world. They don't want long-term things, they want short-term immediate gains. And this we experience with the students when we go to college. Our zone team often say that college reception is not as per our expectations, and many times students are not really participating, and even if they are participating, their questions are like, do you give certificates, will you give food, will you give all, you understand the common challenges. So to overcome that, and also our CLC teams which we have already formed in some of the colleges, it also keeps changing, because the students whom we have inducted, suddenly they change because they are busy in something else. Somebody is writing supplementary, somebody is writing something else. So all these are challenges. When a team is not stable, obviously execution becomes more challenging. So this year we have proposed one induction program for CLC, and just after January main event of the Vivek Subhashittam, we would like to induct formally CLC leaders for the entire year. And there they will take the onus of conducting all the 5 key activities in their respective colleges. Of course, they will be trained, they will be guided, and if feasible within our means, they will also be supported for their transportation, etc. So we are working on that idea very seriously. With the help of seniors, I'll be framing proper format for that. How we can stabilize the team at least from 1 year, so that they graduate next year and they help pass on the way to the next team of the students. Also, some of the challenges the college have is that many times whatever event we take, they like do it under analysis, and they just name it as analysis. All such challenges come, which we keep on working upon to do. Also, we are having some specific modules for students training, so that they understand some depth. They don't just join and do the activities for the sake of certificate. They don't just think about what's in it for me. We want to take it from what's in it for me to what's in it for us as country, and for the nation for which we are working. So these are our broad plans. So I would like to just conclude here that while we go into year 2024, our focus is first strengthening our team and increasing the size of it, which we increasingly feel there is a need. And the second, top-down approach, somehow we are trying to work on with the colleges, so that their response is little more warm, and our Karyakartas also feel excited to work with them. So with that, I would close. Thank you so much for your time. Namaste.
I now request Dr. U.M. Chaudhary ji to come on stage and tell us about Samskruti Adhyayan Kendra activities and action plan.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, Lieutenant General Ramchandra Rao Garu, DGP Dr. Arvind Rao Garu, Dr. C.H. Umameshwar Rao Garu, the ex-Principal Secretary, Sri D.S. R.P. Raju Garu, an industrialist, who are all associated in different important capacities with Samskruti Foundation. Other Samskruti Foundation important dignitaries of the dais, members of the team, attendees in this August gathering, and dear friends. It's my privilege to give a brief account of the activities of Samskruti Adhyayan Kendra. Now, Mr. Rambabu has just given a very brief outline of Samskruti Foundation, which also touched upon Samskruti Adhyayan Kendra. I would just like to reiterate, at the risk of duplicating or repeating, that Samskruti Foundation has two verticals, and which have rather distinct objectives. Dr. V. Modi explained about the Cultural Leadership Center, which is one important part of the activity, which deals with the higher educational institutes as their core attention and carrying forward the culture through them as the medium. Now, it will also be not out of way to give a word or two about the genesis of SAK. We had two important national level conferences held in 2015 and 2018, because that's history now, which brought the importance of culture to our national life, and it was felt that there is really something which you are missing and we ought to do something about it. But then it is easier said than done. What to do was a big question. So it was after a lot of churning discussions with all the stakeholders, with the people from different fields, a lot of churning, thought churning happened and many meetings were held, and at the end of that it was found that the best way to do justice to our rich cultural heritage and culture, ancient knowledge, ancient wisdom, is to try to go deep into that and find out such elements of it which are useful in the current public policy perspective. Because that will touch all aspects of life of all the people of India, and it will be the most effective way to make actual practical current use of our ancient heritage. Otherwise, we find that we refer to our culture only for the sake of reference and just to feel happy and proud about it. So taking it one step from there, the objective for this was set as finding out that knowledge, studying it deeply and identifying such elements which are useful in the current public policy, architecture, and then make an effort to incorporate it. This is the broad objective. Well, this is again easier said than done. The way of operation of Samskruti Cultural Leadership Center is much clearer, and their goals are much proper, easy to identify. Whereas this is okay. How do you bring that into our cultural elements into the public policy perspective? How? What is the way to go about it? So for that also, we needed to make a kind of concept paper, what we are in a more focused manner. What is it that we would like to do in the few years to come? Why we came into existence and what we should focus on in an order of priority. So with that objective, a concept paper was made. Professor Hemnath Rao, H. Hemnath Rao Garu is not unfortunately present here today on account of some personal reasons. He had a pivotal role in formulating that policy paper, what Samskruti Adhyayan Kendra should be doing. It's a brief paper, 2-page paper, but it has very concisely captured what we need to do in this Samskruti Adhyayan Kendra. So that was the first activity that happened in the earlier part of 2022-23. I suppose I am here to give an account of the activities of the Samskruti Adhyayan Kendra that happened in the year 2022-23, and so in the early part of 22-23, this was one major task, and all the senior members, many other professionals from different walks of life, public policy professionals, Sanskrit scholars, people from the field of political sciences, different people were contacted, and as an extract of that, this paper came up. So that is there. It is we have a good brochure which explains that purpose. So that is about our genesis. Now, after coming into existence, we thought of formulating it in a little better fashion, and then set out a path for us, and some activities were conducted subsequent to that. So I will just read out the activities that we did following the setting up of this Samskruti Adhyayan Kendra. And once again, it came up much later. Samskruti Foundation came into existence in 2009, as Rambagar has told. We came into existence in 2021. So we have been in existence only for the last 2-3 years. So I have already mentioned the formulation of the concept paper, which of course it is again for the first 3 or 4 years to come. It is open for revision thereafter. It's not that it is frozen once and for all. Then the next thing was, having taken up that job, we identified different people from different fields who can contribute to that activity, and in a structured way. So we identified 3 different areas in which we rather divide the people who are available and who can contribute to this. The first and foremost group was those who are working in the area of cultural heritage and ancient knowledge of ancient Indian knowledge. So these 2 groups. So this involves Sanskrit scholars, Vedic scholars, those who are exposed to other ancient history, etc., anthropologists, even political scientists, economics of that era. So all these people can be a great asset into digging up the knowledge from which we can churn out the content which can possibly be incorporated into today's public policy. So the identification of that group was done. A large number of people. We have got about totally in all about 70-80 people who can possibly contribute to the 3 groups. I talked only about the first group. The second group is modern public policy experts. This is a relatively new discipline, and therefore it's not easy to get many people from that, but we are fortunate that we are able to get some people. Professor Ramesh from IIM Bangalore, Mr. Subrat Tripathi, my colleague, Mr. Lalit, and we were able to identify Professor Anjal Prakash from Indian School of Business, Hyderabad. So like that, we have been able to get a few people who provide the direction in the area of public policy, because after finding out the elements, how to integrate them into public policy is a big task, and therefore we need knowledgeable people. So this is the second group. And thirdly, if you make a policy formulation, to disseminate it, you need experts who are practicing public policy, who are currently holding senior positions in the government or private sector in senior positions. They are public policy practitioners. So they can help in effective dissemination of that policy recommendations that are given by the first 1 or 2 groups. So these are the 3 groups we have constituted. Large number of people were contacted in the city, and these groups were formulated. Now I will go a little fast through the remaining activity. This is just telling about the process. The remaining things are only activities. As a first major event, we conducted a national level conference on Shivaji Statecraft Lessons for Modern India. The motivation for this was, Shivaji came from a relatively recent period of medieval history, about just 350 years back. Secondly, and the literature on Shivaji is more available than ancient literature, because we have more information written in the written form, more information. Secondly, we thought that if you get information on Shivaji, we can, from the taking as a stepping stone, we can probe deep into a more distant past. So that was the reason. So one conference was conducted in Sri Sailam, where already a Shivaji Spurti Kendra exists. So jointly with Shivaji Spurti Kendra and Samskruti Kendra as a part of Samskruti Foundation, both were involved. So we conducted a national level seminar. The idea of this was also to familiarize us with the public policy aspects that are associated with Shivaji in that era. They also come to the fore and we can learn something from that. But there was a real dearth of the resource persons for this. We most of our people only from Maharashtra and in particularly from Pune. A few people who like our Lieutenant General Ramchandra Rao Garu who are knowledgeable in the military aspects of Shivaji's contribution we could get from the defense area, but in other areas most of the people came from only from Pune, Maharashtra. So the aspects that were emphasized were governance of Shivaji, the governance reforms that he brought, the revenue and land reforms, the policy towards women. These are the important aspects which are highlighted in that. But to our surprise, we found out that even from the so-called experts who came from Pune on that, the narrative or the coverage on Shivaji was only in the historical perspective. Deeply researched aspects of his otherwise contribution were not really properly known, or no research papers came on that in that conference, which can be called as very authentic or original research, or which is something that is spinning off from research, intensive research which is going on currently. So that reiterated our presumption that this is a new area, this has not been attempted before, and therefore we are probably on the right path. The path ahead is arduous, more difficult, and it may take more time also. So that is the outcome of that conference. The proceedings of that conference we have released just now. It took a lot of time. Earlier we thought can make a compendium, but because of the quality of the submitted papers not coming up the level of something which we can publish, there were reservations on that, and therefore the abstracts only of the papers along with other relevant material was published. It was only the proceedings have been published. Next is, as an offshoot of this, Rambhau Malgi Prabodhini, which is a management or HR training institute in Mumbai, they sponsored a fellowship in Samskruti Adhyayan Kendra for doing work on Shivaji to bring out booklets highlighting different attributes of his contribution to the society. We have a fellow working on that who is also pursuing PhD in political sciences, Sudarshan Reddy is there. He is here. So he is working on that. So that is a project sponsored by Rambhau Malgi. It's a one-year duration project. It's going on currently. So that was another activity. Another important project that we secured was a project from Indian Knowledge Systems Unit of AICTE, which recommends getting work on the theme of IKS getting done through interns. So this project is of very short duration, 4 months, and it has come to completion only now. It is this month and it will conclude. We have taken 15 interns who are college students. They have been identified after examining their aptitude for this kind of work, and they are working on 3 different aspects, that is ancient food policy, ancient water policy, and women's issues. Whatever material they can get on these things from our ancient past or practices or wisdom, if that can be churned and something which is relevant to the current policy that can be published, that is what is being attempted in this project. And substantial progress has happened. By the end of this month, we are expected to submit a report on this. So that is the second major activity that has taken place in the last year, 22-23. Then We also secured the membership of two important ancient Oriental Research Institutes. One is BORI, Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute, and Bharati Itihas Sanshadhan Mandal, both located in Pune. And we have secured the institutional membership so that their old libraries which contain a lot of reference and literature will be available to us. Then we also have in SAK, we have started work on an activity of doing work on two areas, that is water policy as existing in our ancient knowledge systems, and food policy. So Dr. Somnath is coordinating the food related policy work, and Sri N. Kshirsagar is coordinating the water policy research related work. There are other members, team members who are working from different places. So these are in short the activities of SAK for the first year of its existence. And now I will just very briefly FIR the time. How much time I have extended already? Okay. So the plan for 2023-24 is general, and it in fact extends beyond that, so I think it will be communicated in writing. We have just identified some research activities. I will just name them. One is making an effort to get us registered as a research institute. For that, whatever is required, that should be done. Then identifying more experts from different parts of the country who are working in relevant fields, but we don't know about them. Finding out the resource personnel is a very tough job. We are not getting the kind of people that are needed for carrying out this job. The experienced people as well as the young people who can contribute to that, so that is under progress. Then building a good library, that's a part of the plan. Then offering fellowship from Samskruti Adhyayan Kendra also for those who are willing to work on things that we can sponsor to them. Then perhaps try for starting out a journal or a magazine which can publish whatever work we do. And a core team of people who are involved in active research in this area to guide this research work in the times to come. So these are the activities that are planned for the coming year and from now onwards. I thank the organizer for giving me the opportunity to briefly report the activities of SAK. Thank you.
I now request Dr. W.G. Prasanna Kumarji to please come on stage and give motivation to the volunteers.
Namaste. Motivation to volunteers. Actually, volunteer is a highly motivated person. So to motivate a volunteer requires a lot of motivation. I know that our volunteers are really very, very motivated. They've been fantastic in terms of our work. Whether it is the conference at Srisalem or meeting of soldiers, there have been difficulties in doing our work. We did have a lot of pitfalls, but that doesn't mean that we stopped. We have unstoppable leadership and very, very encouraging participation. Whether it is cultural leadership centers or the Samskruti Adhyayan Kendra, we had fantastic participation of volunteers. यहाँ पर कौन एम्प्लॉई है, कौन वॉलंटियर है, बोलना बहुत दिक्कत, उसमें दिक्कत है, क्योंकि काम, हमारा काम देखते हुए कभी लोग पूछते हैं कि आर यू अ वॉलंटियर, आर यू हाउ लॉन्ग आर यू एम्प्लॉयड हियर, एंड व्हाट इज योर पोजीशन, व्हाट इज योर वर्क, एंड व्हाट इज दैट यू आर लाइकली टू डू इन फ्यूचर. So how many years have you been here? So those type of questions, it's very difficult to answer because we've been here for life. and we'll be here for life. And we are looking at participation of people from various backgrounds. हमारे साथ में हमारे फैमिली मेम्बर्स भी ज्वाइन करते हैं. So it's not that we are as individuals we are working as a team. So it's been a fantastic effort. Double M లేవు కానీ డబ్బులు ఉన్నాయి, మనుషులు ఎవరు లేరు కానీ చాలామంది మనుషులు ఉన్నారు. It's a difficult terrain, but it's a very easy travel. ఇట్లా అన్నీ అనిపిస్తూ ఉంటాయి. ఏది సత్యం ఏది అసత్యం అంటే మనకి చూసే దృక్పథాన్ని బట్టి ఉంటుంది. So we have been having a fantastic time, very turbulent time also, but ఎక్కడ పోయి శ్రీశైలంని మా సొంత ఊరు చేసుకుని పనిచేస్తాం. We did work like that, and people in Srisailam felt that we are natives there, we are locals there. And when we are going to colleges now and working with the colleges ఆ ప్రిన్సిపల్కి అర్థం కావట్లేదు, మనం కాలేజ్ ప్రిన్సిపలా వాళ్ళు కాలేజ్ ప్రిన్సిపలా, అట్లాంటి లీడర్షిప్ రోల్ ప్లే చేయాల్సి వస్తుంది. ఇట్స్ నాట్ ఈజీ టు గెట్ పీపుల్ టు పార్టిసిపేట్, బట్ ఇట్ డజంట్ మీన్ దట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ వెరీ డిఫికల్ట్ ఆల్సో. ఇట్స్ ద వే మనలో ఉండే ఎంతూజియాజంనే వాళ్ళు, ఎంతూజియాజం చాలా ఇన్ఫెక్షియస్గా ఉంటుంది. సో ఎక్సైట్మెంట్ కనిపిస్తుంది, ఎంతూజియాజం కనిపించదు, ఎంతూజియాజం అనిపిస్తుంది. సో మన టీం బయటకు వెళ్ళినప్పుడు, కాలేజెస్కి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు దిస్ బీన్ దట్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ రెస్పాన్స్. These days now that supposition which Vivek Modi ji mentioned, ante dantlo nutrition, we have started with nutrition, but culture and food are connected. Without food there is no culture, is not complete, culture is not complete. So a completion తీసుకోవడానికి మనం of course millet అని ఒక మార్గం చూస్తున్నాం. But what we are doing this year is that we have connected one activity with the other activity and the other activity with the other activity. అన్ని separate activityగా జరగట్లేదు, ఇవి ఈవెంట్స్ కావు. So Samskruti Foundation has been doing activities in a way that each activity is going into the next activity. So now we are working on supposition, that is nutrition, healthy food. So that is connecting to the next work, that is promotion of the good work, doing good and being good. అది వివేక్ బ్యాండ్ కార్యక్రమం మనం వివేక సుభాషితం అని చేస్తాం. దట్ ఈస్ ఫ్రమ్ స్వామి వివేకానందస్ బర్త్డే, ఫ్రమ్ టు సుభాష్ చంద్రబోస్ బర్త్డే, అండ్ ఆఫ్ కోర్స్ టర్మినేటింగ్ విత్ ది రిపబ్లిక్ డే. సో దాని తర్వాత ఇమీడియట్లీ ఆఫ్టర్ దట్ వీఆర్ ఆల్సో లుకింగ్ ఎట్ ది సైన్స్ డే. ఇవన్నీ ఎట్లా కనెక్టెడ్ అంటే నేషనల్ సైన్స్ డే scientific temper is part of our cultural heritage. It's not that it is separate from our cultural heritage. So those people who are participating in Samskruti Foundation activities, they see the connect between the food and the patriotism, food and doing good work. So having good food is also doing good work. Promoting good food also is part of the cultural heritage. And connecting that to the next work, that is science. So nutrition, having nutritive food is also science. So that's why we have a Midhani type of organization, Mishra Dhatu Nigam, that is basically producing that metal which is less heavy and more strong. That type of metal, that is what is the culture all about. Culture is that metal which is very strong, which is sturdy, which can mold or which can melt into anything and support. So friends, many of you have been coming and have been participating in Samskruti Foundation activities at a higher level of research in Samskruti Adhyayan Kendra, or in the activity level, that is student level, college level, Samskruti cultural leadership centers. ఈ రెండు యాక్టివిటీస్ మనం ఇంటెలెక్చువల్లీ కాంట్రిబ్యూట్ చేయాలనుకుంటే కల్చరల్ సంస్కృతి అధ్యయన కేంద్రాల్లో కాంట్రిబ్యూట్ చేయొచ్చు. లేదా ఏదైనా యాక్టివిటీ ఫీల్డ్ లెవెల్లో స్టూడెంట్స్ తోటి చేద్దాము, యంగ్ పీపుల్ తోటి వర్క్ చేద్దాం, కాలేజెస్ తోటి వర్క్ చేద్దాం, యూనివర్సిటీస్ తోటి వర్క్ చేద్దాం అనుకుంటే వీ కెన్ వర్క్ విత్ కల్చరల్ లీడర్షిప్ సెంటర్స్ ఆల్సో. సో ఇక్కడ బోర్ కొడితే అక్కడ పని చేయొచ్చు, అక్కడ బోర్ కొడితే ఇక్కడ పని చేయొచ్చు, లేదా ఇక్కడ ఎక్సైట్ అయితే అక్కడ కూడా పని చేయొచ్చు, అక్కడ ఎక్సైట్ అయితే ఇక్కడ పని చేయొచ్చు. సో దే ఆర్ మ్యూచువల్లీ సపోర్టివ్. ఇట్స్ బీన్ ఏ జర్నీ వేర్ నేను అన్నపూర్ణకు చెప్తూ ఉంటాను, నువ్వు ఒకదానివే సంస్కృతి ఫౌండేషన్ అని. సో దెర్ ఆర్ సో మెనీ టాస్క్ విచ్ షీ ప్రమోట్స్ బీయింగ్ దేర్ స్టే పుట్. సో ఒకళ్ళు నిలబడితే మిగతా వాళ్ళందరినీ పనిచేయించడం ఎంత బాగా చేయించవచ్చు అనేది సంస్కృతి అధ్యయన కేంద్రంలో మనకి కనిపిస్తుంది. ఇట్స్ అ ఫెంటాస్టిక్ ఆపర్చునిటీ. వీ హ్యావ్ ల్యూమినరీస్ ఫ్రమ్ ఆల్ ఓవర్ ద కంట్రీ హూ ఆర్ హియర్ ఇన్ దిస్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ టుడే. We seek for your blessings, we seek your support, we seek for your ideas. Wherever you can connect us with the colleges, with institutions, with people, please connect us with them so that we can do better work, more significant work, more impactful work, right? So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much for coming here today and participating. Your presence gives us that motivation. And this motivation keeps the work on for the next 1 year. So keep coming, keep participating, keep giving ideas, keep us inspired, right? So we have 4 people who are there on the top here on the podium, whose presence itself is inspiring, and they have been contributing. So atlanti leadership undi manaki. సో మీరు అందరు కూడా కల్చరల్ లీడర్స్గా మాకు సపోర్ట్ చేస్తారని వి లుక్ ఫార్వర్డ్ టు యువర్ సపోర్ట్, యువర్ గైडेंस, యువర్ బ్లెస్సింగ్స్. और आपका साथ है तो हम कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, चांद क्या सूरज को भी पहुंच सकते हैं. धन्यवाद, नमस्कार.
Thank you, sir. We have with us Shri Subrat Tripathi ji. I request him to please come on stage and sing Vayaktik Geet for us. Subrat Tripathi ji.
Sadar pranam to all respected leaders sitting in this August hall, and I have been given a responsibility to sing a song. You know, the song name is Samskruti Sabki Ek Chirantan, which is having a very deep connotation, and I hope this song fosters in us a sense of belongingness to our great heritage culture. So let me try my hand. I am not a professional singer, so please pardon me if I make any mistake, but definitely I will give a try. संस्कृति सबकी एक चिरंतन, खून रगों में हिंदू है, विराट सागर समाज अपना, हम सब इसके बिंदु हैं. संस्कृति सबकी एक चिरंतन, खून रगों में हिंदू है. राम कृष्ण गौतम की धरती, महावीर का ज्ञान यहाँ, वाणी खंडन मंडन करती, शंकर चारों धाम यहाँ. जितने दर्शन राहें उतनी, चिंतन का चैतन्य भरा. पंथ खालसा गुरुपुत्रों की, बलिदानी यह पुण्य धरा. अक्षय बट अगणित शाखाएं, जड़ में जीवन हिंदू है. संस्कृति सबकी एक चिरंतन, खून रगों में हिंदू है. कोटि हृदय है भाव एक है, इसी भूमि पर जन्म लिए. मातृभूमि यह कर्म भूमि यह, पुण्य भूमि हित मरे जिए. हारे जीते संघर्षों में, साथ लड़े बलिदान हुए. काल
चक्र की मजबूरी में रिश्ते नाते बिखर गए। एक बड़ा परिवार हमारा, पुरखे सबके हिंदू हैं, संस्कृति सबकी एक चिरंतन, खून रगों में हिंदू है। सबकी रक्षा धर्म करेगा, उसकी रक्षा आज करें। वर्ण भेद मत भेद मिटाकर नव रचना निर्माण करें। धर्म हमारा जग में अभिनव अक्षय है, अविनाशी है। इसी कड़ी से जुड़े हुए हैं, युग से भारतवासी है। थाह अथाह जहाँ की महिमा, गहरा जैसे सिंधु है। संस्कृति सबकी एक चिरंतन, खून रगों में हिंदू है। हरिजन गिरिजन वासी बन के नगर ग्राम सब साथ चले। ऊंच नीच का भाव घटाकर समता के सद भाव बढ़े। ऊपर दिखते भेद भले हो, जैसे वन में फूल खिले। रंग बिरंगी मुस्कानों से जीवन रस पर एक मिले। संजीवन रस अमृत पीकर मृत्युंजय सम हिंदू है। संस्कृति सबकी एक चिरंतन, खून रगों में हिंदू है। धन्यवाद।
Dhanyawad Subrat ji, this was mesmerizing. Now I request Dr. Uma Maheshwar Rao ji. Oh. I was able to hear my own voice. Thank you Subrat ji. Now I request our chairman Dr. Uma Maheshwar Rao ji to speak a few words. It says it's an interactive session for encouraging commitments and feedback from participants.
Actually, before I say a few words, we have senior people with me on the dais. They have been listening to the activities that the Samskruti Foundation has taken up through Cultural Leadership Centers and Samskruti Adhyayana Kendra. The challenges also have been indicated. I request to kindly advise us whether we have also. I'll request Sri Arvind Rao ji also to kindly advise us.
Respected Uma Maheshwar Garu, Arvind Rao Garu, Dr. Raj Garu, and many learned people here. It's indeed a pleasure for me to be here. And yes, having spent about 40 odd years in the Indian Army, I can share some of the experience as to how to go about in an organization and how an organization is to be created and how it is to be nourished, how it is to be nurtured. So I dare say that we are very much on the right path, sir, because the test of an organization is when you look at the fellow persons with you, especially when I saw them at Sri Salem, the type of motivation levels which were visible amongst the whole lot of people was so evident, and the volunteers were doing such a job that I really thought that Is it a part of the Indian Armed Forces which is so highly motivated, charged up to go and take on an attack against Pakistan? It was, I think the type of delegation which was given, I had seen there, was worth emulating by many of the civil organizations. People were looking for jobs. People were, you did not have to find voids. If at all somebody found a void and the volunteer was there. So I think maybe because of both words start with VO, so the voids and volunteers, I think both were going hand in hand all the time. So I didn't find any voids there. And I found the entire atmosphere so very well charged. I've seen the organizations, I must compliment you. I think a lot of work has gone in, a lot of thoughts have been generated at various, something like there are gurus here, something I think quality circles or something you call it, I have no clue. Being from the armed forces, I am a practical man on the ground. I may not be so much on the theory, but I've seen that people have got into your own small groups, made certain recommendations which have been very correctly encouraged, and by the leadership which is here, they have been encouraged to such an extent that there is no person being left neglected, whatever be the idea. I've seen that a great motivation totally visible. Now, as far as organizational concerns, sir, I think the test of an organization, as I look at it, is now we've created an organization, we have given them the direction, you have given them the wherewithal, I've heard. Now you need to start looking at how do you get to know exactly whether this organization is really successful. Is it by the numbers which keep increasing in the membership? Or do we need to have some feedback mechanism? Because we possibly could think on these lines of getting some feedback. Because if that is not recorded, then we will not be able to move ahead. Whereas I as an advisor or somewhere, when I look at a person, where like for example, let's take a thing like Raksha Bandhan, or let's take an issue where the NCC cadets got wrong. A small interaction was clearly evident to me that they have been briefed well, they have been told what is national integration, what is unity, what is our culture, what is really unity and diversity. You know, and that too when you hear a boy or a girl with about nearly 13 years, 14 years, talking that language to say that why they have gathered here, the very purpose that they have understood that they have gathered here, for that purpose, I think that itself speaks volumes of the dedication of the teams which are involved. So look at a feedback, sir, that's one suggestion I could look at, saying that have your own volunteers of feedback system to find out where are we heading, are there any pitfalls, because complacency is one thing when it sets in, then we are doomed. I think our history is replete with many instances where we have taken things for granted. So it's very important, as I look at it, that do have a feedback system and possibly you will be moving ahead. And I wonder if at all there's anything else to add, but last I would like to close on by saying that success adds to pride, self-pride. And I think that is what is evident. Continue with a good job to everybody. Wish you all the very, very best, and the least one can do as an advisor. I think I've been doing our job. Wish you all the very best, sir, and all the teams. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We really need this type of feedback, because you know, once you are a part of the problem, sometimes we may not be able to see the solution. So we have to come out of that and look at it in a dispassionate manner to find solutions. People who are with us but away from us, with the right type of people who can give us that advice. Thank you so much. I now request Sri Arvindraoji also to kindly advise us on what is happening. Actually, he has participated, as one of my colleagues has said, in a recent one of the talks on Samskruti Jnanamala series.
Sri Raj Garu, Sri Umameshwara Garu, Lieutenant General Ramchandra Rao Garu, Professor Manjulata Garu, Professor Tirupati Rao Garu, and many other people, many other learned people who are present here. I like this song by Sri Subrat Tripathi ji very much because he raised one point which I was just eager to listen. He used two words, that is Hindu and Dharma, and those words were not used by all the other speakers because that is what is needed here. You see, we are doing so many activities. We are going and doing Raksha Bandhan and some other people. I was listening to another gentleman who is in a similar organization. They are going to villages and then they are asking all the women to put that muggulu, you know muggulu. So all these things, Raksha Bandhan, muggulu, and then do good, be good, all those bands and whatnot. People will do all that. But then they will just not know what our dharma is, what he said about Hindu matam or Hindu dharma is, and why dharma has to be preserved. So we see the Tamil Nadu also DMK, all the DMK people, they go to all temples, but then they don't vote for a nationalist party, they vote for DMK. So here also they do all Raksha Bandhan, they will do all, what all you say, they will do what all activities you try to make them do, and then they will vote for some other party, which is not having any sort of national interest, which is not having any national perspective. So my first request, I am not pointing out any mistake or anything, I am nobody to point out any mistake, but then my suggestion is that at the back of every activity, kindly have this idea that this dharma has to be preserved. So only one gentleman that he was talking about the preservation of culture. Anytime you talk about culture, at the back of the mind, we also should have the idea that we are talking about dharma, what he said about Hindu dharma is something like a Sindhu, and in that Sindhu we are a small bindu. So that is what he was talking about. It was a wonderful song. So my suggestion, or my request, or my submission is that we should all have this idea in mind, because this it is very difficult or rather sensitive sometimes we may feel, because if you talk about culture, you will have access to all schools, colleges, etc. And you also have some interaction with them, and then you make them wear bands and then talk about this, that, etc. But then they have no idea about our dharma, why dharma has to be preserved, etc. And we know that when, for example, about 20-25 years ago, when Samuel Huntington wrote his book, The Clash of Civilizations, he was not talking about any vague thing like civilization or culture. He was talking about religions only. And then he was very, very clear in his mind that, say, in the 20th century, the clash was between various political entities like democracy, totalitarianism, communism, etc., etc. It was called the age of reason. But then when it came to 21st century, then people were thinking that all that thing is over and then the world will have some peace, etc. But then he pointed out that a new kind of alignment was taking place. And that alignment was on the lines of civilization. And by civilization, he meant religion only. So we have got Western civilization, which is trying to, say, grab the whole world, which is trying to dominate the whole world. We have got the Islamic civilization, that is the Arabic civilization, which is another equally strong force, which is trying to grab the whole world. And we also having what is called the global left, the left wing, the global communism or communist international, what they call. So this is another force. It may not be as strong as the other two, but then it is also a force which is doing a lot of mischief here and there and which is helping both these two people. And all these three forces, and our Hanuman Chaudhary Garu says, 3 M's, he says, in every meeting he talks about 3 M's. You might be very familiar with those 3 M's. Mullah, Marxist, missionary, he talks about Hanuman Chaudhary Garu. So I like that expression. So these three forces, what are they? That is 2 Abrahamic religions, and one is this global left. they are all the people they want to destroy our civilization. What by civilization I mean all the Indic religions. In fact, I feel so bad about when we see actually most of us, we are all watching all the world developments. When we see the developments, these three forces, they want to uproot all the Indic religions. And among the Indic religions, the major religion is of course Hinduism. And once this religion goes, all other things also automatically go. It is not as though Hinduism alone will go and Buddhism will remain, or Sikhism will remain, or Jainism will remain. All the three automatically go. So that is the reason why all these three external forces, they are concentrating on India. And India is the battleground for all these three fellows. And what are we doing? So if we talk about only culture, and if we don't have that idea in our mind that we have to do something about our dharma or about religion, then probably, I don't know whether we are missing the main thing. We are missing the main thing, and then, okay, all other people also, they will accept our culture, like we are seeing in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, etc., other people of other religions, they are also wearing saffron, they are also calling themselves as Swamijis, and here also we are seeing many people calling themselves Jagat Gurus, so and so Chisti, so and so Chisti. We have got even letterheads we used to see. So like that, all the people also, they accept our culture. It is a part of what is called inculturation. And they accept our culture, they wear our dress, they also put bindi, they also do all the things which our Swamijis do, and then they look like our Swamis only. So they absorb our culture, whatever we are talking about our culture, etc., they absorb our culture, they will also tie Rakhi, they will also put Muggu and all that. But then, the religion is totally different, the dharma is totally different. So kindly, we have to bear it in mind. That is my first submission, and first and only submission. Because very recently, in fact, I happened to write a small book, and my very good friend, my colleague, Mr. Sri Umameshwar Rao Garu, he read the whole book and then gave some very valuable comments. It has just gone for print. The book is only about this. Book is only about the Indic religions' challenges for survival. Many people think that there is no great danger for the Indic religions. But I am really, I feel very bad that after 20 years, I just can't imagine what the situation may be in our country. So I am speaking all this before Sri Umameshwar Rao Garu speaks, because he is more optimistic than me. So he may be giving some counter or maybe more, he may give some sort of explanation, or he may add some positive points which I might have missed. So this is what I feel. So these three external forces which are trying to uproot our Indian civilization and our Indian civilization is, I mean, all the Indic religions as such. So it is very, very dangerous, and we have to keep in mind, particularly the message has to go to each and every village also. In my view, the voter is the fellow who has to be sensitized. Whatever activity is being done by any organization, any cultural organization or any organization, it has to have that idea in mind. It has to reach, the message has to reach even the village level, and then they should, even the ordinary voter, at least the educated people in every village, they have to know what exactly are the problems being faced by our dharma. And if the dharma goes, what type of dharma or what type of religion is going to come. So these are the things I think we may not be able to speak, of course, in the entire gathering. I don't think there is anybody who is very, very hostile to Hindu religion. All the people, they know that they are here basically to preserve dharma. But somehow, but we are not telling it more openly. I think that time has to come. We have to speak more openly, like other people are doing. Other people are very aggressively speaking, very aggressively they are denouncing, very aggressively they are propagating themselves. So if we don't speak about our own, in fact, he was talking about why we have to preserve our dharma. It's a very important question. Why we should preserve our culture? So it's a very important question. So why? Let us have a comparative analysis of what is our culture and what is the other two cultures or other two Abrahamic civilizations. Why can't we do that? In fact, we have to do that. Unless we do that, and unless everybody more and more people know in every village, at least all the village elders have to know, so that they can guide all other uneducated people. Otherwise, they will just vote for, oh, this fellow is from my caste, and then this fellow is from, he has given so much money, etc. So this sort of building up patriotism even right down to the village level, that should be our task. That is my submission, and that's the only submission. And I also like that line, "Hoon Rabom mein Hindu hai." So that's a beautiful line. So I thank Sri Umameshwar Rao Garu. I am very sure that Umameshwar Rao Garu will give some more positive notes on whatever negative things which I said. Thank you.
Thank you, Ravindra Garu. You know, it is very nice to have a friend like this who keeps on alerting you on what you should be doing. Otherwise, we can also get into complacency. As Lieutenant General was also pointing out, without getting a feedback, we can get into complacency. Now, these are very useful statements. Before I say a few words, I would like to know from among the August audience here whether anyone would like to comment on anything very briefly. We are running out of time. Let's have about 5 to 10 minutes of time to any one of you. The floor is open. Anybody can say on the activities that are going on, or something which will be of relevance to us, so that that also idea also could be discussed threadbare at the appropriate level and forums to take it for implementation. Anybody? Actually, the session is supposed to be an interacting session. Yeah.
We will utilize for 200 days minimum conducting programs for higher education institutions.
Depends on all of us. How do we keep it engaged for 200 days? We need to have a plan for that. We have to organize and then go ahead with the programs. Yes, I have no objection.
One should have our Adhyayana Kendra to be, fully equipped with the, the goals turning into an action. Keeping that in mind, a system should be set up where we should have a collaborative approach with the various institutions, so that we can take it forward, the Adhyayana Kendra activities.
Yeah, that's right. That is already on the cards. That idea is already on the cards to strike a relationship. Professor Chaudhary ji, when he mentioned about the discussions we had with Bhandarkar Institute in Pune, and similarly other institutions. We are trying wherever we're coming forward. We are trying, because it's a very tough terrain to get the acceptance to get into an MOU. That's how the Social Science Research Organization has funded us for the conducting the seminar in Srisailam also. That's how we want to align with them in terms of social research, because basic research on this area is not taking place in many of the universities. So universities also have to be activized, so that in their own research this component also comes in. As
Culture aspect. So I think there is a small Center for Exact Humanities. There is a small area which is there. There is a Center of Excellence in IIIT Hyderabad, where they do similar kind of work, but that is with a different purpose altogether. Okay. So if we can have such kind of an association, I think that one of the item for a national seminar, dance in ontology is one of the subject which was thought of initially to get a PhD. The lady worked for about more than 6 years in the IIIT Hyderabad, but she could not get even one single a national level seminar on that particular.
Okay.
So this is where the Samskruti can help the IIITs, all the higher education institutions, especially some of the institutions are meant for only to give PhDs. If Samskruti can help in building that particular gap in that particular area, in giving the highest appreciation and connecting the culture with that particular institution. I think it's a one of the gelling area that what I feel, but let's see. You can always validate at your end. So
okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Nothing, I'm just tempted to say a few words. One is that I like this approach of culture and public policy and culture. Reason being, in public policy, we generally take the developmental angle or economic angle or political science angle, very rarely the cultural angle. So that really appealed to it, and let's run it for some time, and I'm sure we will make an impact in that direction. And the culture also, what we are doing and all, is very impactful. The way management, way we look at it itself, first let's get them into our fold. Then we can slowly keep working on that. First is to really get them to our fold. And I think these sort of activities will really help. One point I can give you is that keep on working. At some point, sir, we will hit the tipping point. The moment you hit the tipping point, then it will be self-driven and they will happen themselves. And one of the things I keep trying to help Samskruti also, and I'm associated with other policy institutions also, is that basically what we are trying to do is how do you contextualize the current with the past. Like suppose ESG, when somebody speaks, or PM or government says, we were already there, what are you trying to teach us? Okay, but to speak that, we need lot more evidences, which is what, if a whole day I was discussing with them, a lot of work is happening actually. In fact, I'm very happy, having visited, because I found that we are really doing quite a lot actually, compared to what I was really thinking when I was joining online and like that. Second thing, I would also say that you need to contextualize the past for the present. In the sense, how do you relate to the current guys, current times, current generations like that, And that's where I come. Don't give up hopes. I'm working with the students for last 30 years. They are wonderful people. Don't give up on them. They're really good. It's just that, we need to touch them. The moment we touch them, it'll start happening. So I think this is one of the counter to, or probably he'll have more answers to you, sir. Yeah, thank you. But I do have a lot of hopes on them, Thank you.
Thank you. Jinjanwalaji, you wanted to say?
Namaste. I'm really, my point is in continuation to Arvind Raoji's suggestions, that in our education system, what is happening is the child is taught what they get out of their endeavor, rather than how they can help or how can they be responsible for the growth of nation, and in what way their activity would help the country. That kind of orientation is not given in our education. So we need to do that. They are always promoted by saying that you will get that, you will get this, and how they can come up, how they can go abroad and earn. And instead of, whatever they do, they should have this kind of sense that how it will help the nation. So this needs to be put in our education system. That's what I feel. So while studying Indian knowledge systems, we can link it up. That how, for example, Aryabhata's work, it helped the whole world. Like that, we should, orient these education system by giving these our ancient knowledge systems, and how, the rishis and munis, by sacrificing everything they have done for the humanity, and that will stand forever. This is what I think.
Thank you very much. Last.
Thank you so much. Actually, after listening to Sri Arvind Rao Garu, I am having a very poignant feeling. And the feeling is, why are we so apologetic about, introducing ourselves as Hindus? We have got culture as a very convenient subject, or convenient connotation or a letter or a word, where everything gets, but somehow the way we have been brought up, and we have brought up our children also, we feel shy in calling ourselves our Hindu. That's our identity. That's a fact. That's how I have been brought up. That's how I brought up my children. But today, at the age of 57, 58, I realize this dilemma. It's very difficult for me to go back to my children and tell them, look, I have brought up in a wrong fashion. I'm not given the current identity. How do we address this dilemma, a dichotomy that bothers us? And that's what you raised this point, sir. Could you throw some light on this? Why is it so? Why are we so apologetic about it?
I don't see any reason why we have to be apologetic. We have been apologetic only because we don't have adequate knowledge of our culture, or rather religion. I will not use the word culture. We don't have adequate knowledge. Many of our people, they are exposed to what the Western people have written about Hinduism. That Hinduism is about caste. So somebody like Udayanidhi Stalin says, oh, Hinduism has to be approved, this Sanatana Dharma has to be uprooted. And what does he mean by Sanatana Dharma? What is Sanatana and what is Dharma, and why he wants to uproot it? And then when he wants to uproot Sanatana Dharma, he is actually being the mouthpiece of somebody else behind him. There is some other force behind him which is making him speak like that. So we are also, most of us, we think that Hinduism is caste, Hinduism is this, Hinduism is suppression, Hinduism is there are no women rights. So we have absolutely no idea about what Bhagavad Gita says. If we completely listen to Bhagavad Gita from a competent Swamiji, always my advice is, in every meeting I only advise people to kindly study Bhagavad Gita, not on your own. If we take our own, take a Bhagavad Gita, however huge the book may be, and then if we try to read, we will have so many, we'll see that, oh, there is a contradiction here, there is some contradiction there, etc. We have to listen from some competent teachers, we have to understand the Gita. Then we will see what is the nature of the supreme reality, and what is the difference between Abrahamic religion and what is what our Upanishads say. What is the Upanishadic philosophy? For example, ours is something which is based on reasoning, whereas all the other religions, they are based on faith. The faith-based people, the faith-based means it is told by somebody at some point of time. Somebody said, oh, I have got some equation with God, and then he comes and tells you, yeah, you have to jolly well believe in that. If you don't believe in that, Sar Tan se juda something. So, but then our people did not say like that. Our people, as that song said, there are so many people, there are so many schools, and we are all allowing, every darshan. And then there is a beautiful line, I forgot. So he said every darshana is one school of philosophy. And all these schools of philosophy coexisted. And they had debates, they had Shastra, Charcha, etc. But then, who is aware of it? There is a book, Brahma Sutra, various questions about what is the nature of reality. We have debated on every issue. And then somebody agrees, somebody does not agree, but all of us are staying together. We all call ourselves Hindus, and we all know that there is something which is Gita, Upanishads. They are our core philosophy. So that is the reason why even if we can't read Gita and Upanishads, I request everybody to read at least Vivekananda, not Be Good, Do Good. I am talking about Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga and then Karma Yoga. If we read these two books and then absorb them, and Jnana Yoga actually has converted many Westerners into Hindus. Kindly take it from me. People just read that Jnana Yoga, and then they saw the limitation, or rather pettiness of their own religions, and then came away. So our people have to read these two things and make everybody read this Jnana Yoga, organize meetings, sessions on Jnana Yoga, teaching classes on Jnana Yoga. Let all the people, first of all, they have to let them equip themselves. So that is the reason why we are not having that confidence. We feel that, oh, we are doing some, we are being illiberal if we talk ourselves as Hindus. We are not insulting anybody. We are only saying that we belong to so-and-so civilization, and then we are proud to be like this, and then we are not insulting anybody. In fact, somebody else has come from outside, and then they are trying to suppress us. We have not gone to Arabia, we have not gone to Jerusalem to suppress anybody. So we have to tell our people like that. We have to, in fact, I request everybody to read books belonging to other religions. There are many Western people who have written these books. For example, I always talk about one American professor called Bill Warner and another person called Robert Spencer. Kindly get hold of those books, particularly those who are having girl children. I also advise this. If you are having a daughter, you kindly get hold of the books of Bill Warner on, Islam, and also Robert Spencer on Islam. Then another person called Christopher Hitchens. There are many other people, but particularly about Bill Warner, I say because I purchased about half a dozen of his books and then read them very, very thoroughly. And our Umameshwara Garu also purchased those books and read during his stay in America recently. So he also certifies what I am saying. So we have to know our dharma, our doctrine. We should also know the other doctrine. Once we know that, we will have all the confidence. What you said, all confidence, it will automatically come.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you very much for the elaboration. I better go there now.
I wish to make a special announcement. We have two of our special guests who have just joined us. Shri C.H. Venugopal Reddy ji, Chairman of Bharat Institutions and owner of these premises. Namaskar. And Vaishali Malhotra ji, IRS. Namaste ji. So with this, we close this session. Before closing the session... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm still waiting.
You were... Okay.
We are actually running out of time, but only very few points which I would like to place before you. An excellent feedback has come to us from both the advisors from our advisory council, Lieutenant General Sri Ramchandra Rao ji and then friend Arvind Rao ji. We need not feel shy to say I am a Hindu. If each one of us feel convinced about it, get out of this room with that conviction. First, if you have any doubts in your mind, the elaborate explanation given by Sri Arvind Rao should suffice to feel like that and feel convinced, yes, I am a Hindu and I am proud to be feeling like that. I can always say I am so and so. There is nothing wrong in feeling like that, definitely. That's one thing, which I have been mentioning myself also, wherever occasion arises. That's one. Secondly, the important point, both the suggestions made by Lieutenant General Ramchandra Rao ji are welcome. We definitely attempt that, sir. The feedback and also how to maintain this continuously to upgrade ourselves. Other point about the point that we have to keep at the back of our mind, dharma, mentioned by Arvind Rao, is very, very relevant for all of us. Actually, when we were having discussions about how do we go to the people, we said we need an entry point. He also mentioned that. It is an entry point to the colleges. Slowly, once you have consolidated the CLCs, cultural leadership centers, then we start questioning why this culture. We'll start having those discussions with them, why this culture. This culture derives from our original dharma. And what dharma is, what is that dharma? Slowly we can take them, handhold them towards that, because they do not know anything about these things, because they have not read this in the schools, they have not read in the colleges, nor the parents are telling them. If you suddenly start talking about them in a high philosophy, it will be difficult. Once you take them into confidence that, these people tell us something which is useful to us, which definitely will be useful to us, then they know we can conduct them. I have one personal experience in Guntur. I will not take much time. We had one meeting with the women, self-help group women, organized by the Women and Child Welfare Department. That day about 4 or 5 other speakers were to come to engage them. They came for a whole day session from 10:30 to 4 o'clock. I was there. The departmental convener was there. There was a lady officer. Nobody else had come. Now the question was, how do we engage them for 5 hours? So the lady says, I can't open my mouth. Sir, you will have to do that. How can I engage them for 5 hours? That would be really doing a lot of harm to them. Is that not like that? No, she said, sir, you somehow manage. Then I told that this is our problem, I told before the crowd. This is what had happened. And then I said, why not I listen to you? Whoever from amongst you wants to talk, give me the names. I was surprised, 35 people came the names off the cuff. Mention your personal problems, mention your departmental problems, whatever you say in the 4 walls of this room, I'll take responsibility so that nobody will do you any harm. All the 35 people came and spoke. I made elaborate notes of those 35 deliberations, and finally I gave them reply indicating that the answer to all your problems lies in literating yourself, educating yourself. We were about to launch a literacy movement there. I linked all their personal problems and department problems to literacy movement successfully. And they heard with rapt attention. And the question of feedback which Ramchandra Rauji was mentioning was, subsequently that, during Chandrababu Naidu's time, they prepared a white paper on women's empowerment policy. They sent it to all the district collectors, advised that we should have a meeting across the section of societies, take their feedback and send it to the government. So we were to have that meeting. So our people came, sir, should we have the meeting in the same hall which we had last time? No. We will have this meeting in the parade grounds of the Guntur headquarters. Parade grounds, unless we have 30,000-40,000 people, you cannot even see them to be there. That's the reason why we would going to have. How are you going to get these people? You are going to send buses, lorries and bring them. No lorry, no bus, they will come on their own. How? How will they come? How will they come? I do not know, but they are going to come. Just do this. Give an advertisement. Collector wants to discuss with you regarding this policy. Please come by 11 o'clock by your own self. There would be toilet facility available for women. There would be milk available for the small child, and a working lunch would be provided. This is all you mention in the advertisement, in the news release. Nothing else. People will come and there. Kodila Sivaprasad was a minister, Upuri Sitaramma were the ministers. I told them, lot more people are going to come tomorrow morning. You stay back to tell about government programs. Then, they said, they took it very casually. Sir, we send lorries and buses for organizing meetings, political meetings. Nobody comes. Even if we give money also, nobody comes. And you say you give a press note and people just come like that. I said, I have the confidence people will come. And people did come in numbers. 40,000 of them landed up in the parade grounds next day morning. It's a different matter. Vavilal Gopalakrishna was also alive at the time. Along with 1 or 2 other vice chancellors, we participated, the deliberations over. The question was, subsequently press was asking, sir, how do you know that they all would come? How are you so sure about that? The answer was only one thing. I gave them an opportunity to talk about the programs last time meeting. I gave them solutions. They were impressed with the solutions. They were impressed that if collector calls for a meeting, this collector calls for a meeting, there is something useful that is going to happen to us. Let's go. No word stops with the women's. ఆడవాళ్ళ నోట్లో మాట తాగదు అనే ఒక సామెత కూడా ఉంది కదా, అది it has worked wonders. They became your ambassadors. Each woman who was present that day brought about another 10, 15, 20 of them from their village. So why I am mentioning this is, once your CLC members get convinced with our conviction, yes, this is necessary for us to know, we slowly start taking them towards the dharma and also our responsibility, definitely. That is there in the agenda. Right now, we are still in some sort of a consolidation phase. Vivek pointed out, every year you get a new group of people. How do you ensure that the same group of people come? We need a strategy for that, so that same group of people are coming. Repeatedly, they get exposed to discussions with us. Slowly, we get them to understand our dharma, our culture, our philosophy. That's one of the reasons why our volunteers are also being equipped with Samskruti Jnanamala series, giving them some basic idea about our dharma and other things, it will not stop. If necessary, we will repeat these sessions to encourage and empower our volunteers to understand that, because when they go there, when they talk there, they should be able to make some sense, either with the college management people, or with the students, or the faculty members, or anybody else for that matter. So that's there, sir. That definitely would be attempted. It is at the back of the mind. It is as a part of the long-term strategy. Today, actually, our challenge is also to strengthening the Samskruti Adhyayana Kendra, as one of my friends was mentioning here. Really, we have to do a lot more hard work to do that type of research. That also gives us some more talking material, which is not available. We are today having something, which is available from our own shastras, our own people written, and some books from the other societies and all that. See, why we have to do that? In one session, which Mr. Rambabu mentioned about the 2 national level seminars that we organized in 2013 and 15 and 18, Palle Ramarao, who is the second advisor to the government, who was also Vice Chancellor of Hyderabad Central University, he was the chief guest in one of those sessions. I went to him, personally requested him to come and talk to him. While he was talking, he mentioned one thing on that day. In the 2nd century BC, 2nd century, not BC, AC, in the metallurgical practices of our country, he said, there was the knowledge of nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is what we are talking today. This is available, this knowledge is available, but somehow we lost track of that. This is not done by a layperson. He is a metallurgical expert of world repute. He is considered to be better than Abdul Kalam in that area. Though Abdul Kalam had the publicity and other things because of the presidential post and all that, this man quietly at the age of 84 today goes directly to RCA and works there every day. We don't know much about that. There are people who are working like that. So therefore, there are lost gaps in the knowledge also. That knowledge also has to be sort of drafted. This research, suppose, probably, brings out some such things. This one. Madam was talking about education. Yes, this is being done, attempted by the National Education Policy, with which I am also concerned, because as a member of the Vidya Bharati, Akhil Bharati Siksha Samsthan, and also President for Dakshina Bhancha Kshetra, I am deeply involved in implementing the National Education Policy also. There, the first time, it said, the knowledge that we generate should be Bharat-centric. That's the word they have used in the policy document of the government. As a part of that, AICT has established a unit known as Indian Knowledge System Unit to spread and also bring out the Indian knowledge system. Whatever is available today has to be consolidated and mopped up together before going into further depth on the various topics. Some work is happening. And then finally, on the education point, today, LKG, UKG and all that was not part of the school education system. New education policy prescribes that that shall be part of the school education system, calling it as a Balavatika. For that, a separate cultural framework has been prepared, and sessions are going on for training teachers in the area. Vidya Bharati has done a tremendous amount of work in giving inputs to the government while framing the policy, national policy, and also coming out with the school education curriculum framework, and also some sort of a textbooks that will be coming. And final point is, last year, 22, before year, April, we released 2 books, history books, being used by the CBSE people for 7th and 8th classes, written by Vidya Bharati and Chinmaya Mission together. And where did we release them? We released them in Chennai, strategically. Because Chennai was opposing this, they said, we'll go to the area where they're opposing this, not to the area where they are supporting it. In a Chinmaya Mission hall, about 1,000 full members were available. Actually, Vivek Agnihotri, who made this Kashmiri file, also had come there, and also 2-3 other national level writers. Swamiji is from Chinmaya Mission, and myself was representing Vidya Bharati there. We released those 2 books. They are being taught in CBSE syllabus in what you call in Chennai, basing on our history, basing on the identified gaps in the history, not projecting what. Essentially, the point would they say is that Indian history is not about losing the battles. Indian history is about also resisting at every stage. We have resisted the onslaught of the others and try to preserve the culture and the dharma of this country. Otherwise, you would not be standing to today, even in this manner, what we see today. These things have to be understood. So that's the type of history. If government is trying to sort of bring about new historical textbooks, it is because of this reason, the mystery history, the history that we don't know, it need to be known to us by us so that we can educate our children properly. Future generation will understand what has been the history of this country, what has been the valor of our people, what are the struggles they faced to resist the onslaught, and how we preserve the dharma and the culture of this country. And final point is, Vishwanatha Satyanarayana, who got the Jnanapita Award, he wrote 12 books. Purana Vaira Granthamala, these are in Telugu. These 12 novels is about how our kings, over a period of time, he has gone to something like 6th, 7th century BC, and took the data from there, historical data he took, and weaved that into a story or a novel, taking the characters. But theme is historical, presentation is to the novel form, where how different efforts were made to subdue this culture, how various kings have again revived it, time and again, how it was affected and how it has revived. It gives us Purana Vaira Granthamala, because people who are inimical to Purana literature, that's what it means. The Granthamala is a series of books, 12 books. Actually, as Arvind Rao was mentioning, the time that was available to me in America this time, I completed those books also, took them along with me when I went there. It's true, what he said is true. I purchased those books of Bill Warner, and they are extremely good, trying to understand why they do the way they do. Now we have to understand that. Basing on that, you will not have any sort of a misplaced sympathy or hypocrisy about saying what is what. That tells you clearly, starting from fundamentals. It is not, he is not writing opinion. He is quoting the originals considered to be as their scriptures or text, and from that he sort of, culled out the information written in a very easy fashion. Those books are available on the Amazon also. You can order them, Bill Warner. So with this, I will close the session. I understand Sri L. Narasimha Reddy ji is likely to come, but I don't know whether we have the time already. We have crossed our time. Anyway, I will apologize to him on behalf of all of you and also on my behalf. We will sort of close the session here with a Shanti Mantram, because we promised them we will close the session at 8 o'clock and would have the dinner after 8 o'clock, and then which also will be closed by 8:45 or 9 o'clock. People have to get back to their places. They have come from far off. I would like to thank and compliment all of you who have made it a point to attend this meeting, which has been extremely fruitful, and we got a really useful feedback. I'll spend some time to get a feedback from Justice Narasimha Reddy personally. So we will now close and you can continue this.
Dhanyavad, sir. So as we close this program, I would like to say thanks to the members of our advisory council, members of our governing council, members of executive committee, our special guests, the owner of our premises, Shri C.H. Venugopal Reddy Garu, and a special thanks to the caretakers of these premises, Shri Venkanna Garu and his wife Manjula Garu. Are they around? Okay. And I also thank Annapurna ji and Tukaram ji who work in our office. Naveen ji, BSc Naveen ji, who is taking care of our CLC activities outside Telangana across all of India. And Vanaja ji, who is our support staff for Samskruti Foundation. So thank you everyone for your time. Thank you for coming here and spending time with us, sharing your knowledge with us, and people who are already volunteers with us. I would also request you to actually talk about Samskruti Foundation, the different kinds of work that Samskruti Foundation is doing, and request or motivate and inspire more people to join Samskruti Foundation so that we can spread the good work that we are doing. Thank you very much once again. And now, before arrangements have been made for dinner, so please don't go. Please join us for dinner. But before that, let's sing Shanti Mantra together. Please repeat after me. Please sit straight, all of you. You can sit and say. Should we say together, sir? Or first line, please repeat after me, and then we will say together. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Dhanyavad. This way, the dinner arrangement have been made this way. Please take this door. Thank you.